Welcome to the case of General Nuclear versus the community of Poquay. Defending General Nuclear and the construction of their new nuclear power plant on the outskirts of Poquay is the CEO, Mr. Peter Inserlo. Representing the residents of Poquay is Mrs. Rachel Mano. The expert providing scientific information for this evening is Mr. Matthew Lopez. First, we will hear from the prosecution, a mother of three living within a 10-mile radius of the site of the new power plant. Rachel, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, the absolute most complete truth, the most thorough truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, of course, madame. I oppose the construction of the new power plant for numerous reasons. I, representing our community, am afraid that the hazardous nuclear waste will leak into the ground and contaminate our drinking water, putting our families in danger. High-level nuclear wastes are hazardous because of their high radiation levels, which can produce fatal doses within moments of exposure. It is extremely difficult to dispose of waste safely. Radioactive contamination can cause cancer and many other illnesses. Nuclear reactors create radioactive waste that will remain hazardous for 240,000 years, which is a very long time. If the waste was removed from the site and transported somewhere else, that would present different dangers. It would be a terrorist target. Also, there is a risk of some nuclear waste spilling and harming many other things and people.
And now for the defense. Peter, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, the absolute most complete truth, the most thorough truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor. There are many reasons why the power plant should continue to be constructed in the town of Poquay. First off, it offers an alternate energy source that is more efficient than burning fossil fuels, such as coal, and it reduces hazardous emissions that lead up to global warming. As of today, nuclear energy provides 11 to 18% of the world's electric. The worldwide nuclear network includes 442 nuclear reactors and 130 are located in the USA. Another positive effect of the power plant has to offer is that it produces absolutely no greenhouse gases, and less than 1/100th of CO2 gas is emitted by power plants compared to coal or gas. Furthermore, nuclear energy creates less greenhouse gases than renewable energy sources, such as hydro, wind, solar, and biomass methods.
Now that both cases have been stated, we will hear from our scientific expert, Mr. Matthew Lopez.
Thanks, Judge. Nuclear fission uses the element uranium-235, and it uses this to create nuclear power for the plants. This is a very common element on Earth, and in nature it gives off radiation. When put in a fission reactor, it is bombarded with neutrons. The neutrons hit the uranium atoms and cause the nucleus to split. This releases gamma radiation and approximately 200 million electron volts, which is a lot of energy for such a small source. Gamma radiation given off by the reactor is blocked by the concrete surrounding the reactor. The newest form of nuclear energy is called fusion. There are no finished fusion plants in existence today. Fusion takes two ions of smaller nucleuses and smashes them together to create large amounts of energy. This is what happens in the sun. This produces much less waste than fission, but it is not available yet. This is all made possible by some properties of radioisotopes. Radioisotopes are highly unstable and give off energy and radiation in nature. This means that the energy is easier to harvest from these isotopes than regular isotopes of atoms.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Mrs. Mano and Mr. Inserlo, do you have any further arguments before the issue is deliberated and decided upon?
Also, Judge, nuclear power delivers less energy globally than renewable energy, so there are more safer, effective methods.
However, nuclear energy does not cause as much pollution as the burning of fossil fuels does.
But no nuclear power plant reactor is safe. Highly reactive fuel requires constant cooling, which when it fails can lead to catastrophe.
Catastrophic.
Pause it.
I can't pause it, go.
How do I say it?
Catastrophic.
Catastrophic release of radioactivity. For example, look at the nuclear radiation accident at Chernobyl in 1986 when nuclear fallout killed livestock, agriculture, and even reached England. Do you, sir, want that to happen to the very small town of Poquay?
Madam, I don't think you understand. Uranium, which powers nuclear power plants, has enough energy to satisfy large demands of electricity because it is not running out like fossil fuels. This could solve the energy crisis and could save generations to come.
Excuse me? Of course I understand. Ionizing radiation can harm animals and humans, depending on the amount of exposure, how long they are exposed, and what body parts are affected. Also, it takes 4 to 5 years just to build one power plant.
Exactly. The power plant could create jobs for numerous people in the community. You see, it's all about job creation.
Not if the workers are being exposed to radiation, which can be deadly. And nuclear power requires large capital costs, emergency containment, and radioactive waste.
But the waste is highly compact, unlike carbon dioxide, and it is easily to transport. Nuclear power plants already supply 15% of the world's energy.
There is no secure risk way to store nuclear waste, though. Even leading environmentalists such as Patrick Moore agree that nuclear power plants are dangerous. Moore even stated, nuclear power plants are, next to nuclear warheads themselves, the most dangerous devices that man has ever created. Their construction and proliferation is the most irresponsible, in fact, the most criminal act ever to have taken place on this planet.
Well, obviously that scientist knows nothing, because nuclear power can produce lots of energy in a short amount of time. 1 megawatt per second to be exact.
What? How can you say Moore knows nothing?
Order! Order in my court. No more evidence. This case will be decided on right now. In the meantime, take a lunch break.
After lunch, the judge comes back into the courtroom.
It has been decided that after careful consideration that the nuclear power plant cannot be constructed in this community. It can cause radiation problems, is not safe to store, and presents too many risks in our town. Therefore, General Nuclear and the CEO, Mr. Peter Anserello, will never be allowed to build a nuclear power plant here in Polkway. Thank you to everyone who contributed to this case, including our scientist, Mr. Matthew Lopez, and of course, Mrs. Rachel Manno. Case dismissed.